There's something serious going on inside India's largest IT company, TCS. See, behind the shiny corporate logos, a huge storm of layoffs seems to be gathering. And there's this real sense of fear spreading through the offices, affecting thousands of people. Okay, let's get right into what's happening.
You know, it's easy to see the numbers and the headlines and just tune out. But this is, at its core, a human story. We're talking about an atmosphere of just intense anxiety, where careers that people have spent decades building now feel like they're on shaky ground. To really understand what it feels like on the inside, just listen to this. It's from a TCS employee in Pune. After 13 years with the company, their project ended. So they tried to find a new role internally. But instead of getting help or support, they just got these constant pestering calls from HR. And then, that was it. They were let go, just like that. And look, this isn't just a one-off story. From everything we're hearing, it's a deeply unsettling environment right now. We're talking about veteran employees, people who've put in 10, 15 years of service, being let go literally overnight. And the worst part? They're apparently not even given a clear reason why. Just an ultimatum. Either you resign or we terminate you. Can you imagine? Okay, so just how many people are we talking about here? This is where the official story and the rumors start to look, well, completely different. There is a massive gap between what the company is hinting at and what employees are actually saying.
So, on one side, you have the official hint from the head of TCS, K. Krithivasan. He's talking about a cut of maybe 2% of the workforce. That comes out to around 12,000 employees. I mean, that's already a huge number, right? But what the IT unions and the employees are claiming is way, way bigger. 30,000 plus. That's the number that's really fueling all this concern. And look, whether it's an exaggeration or not, a number that's nearly 3 times the official hint is exactly why the workforce is so on edge right now. So, the big question is, why is all this happening now? To really get to the bottom of it, we have to look thousands of miles away to a policy decision made in the United States that basically sent shockwaves through the entire Indian IT industry.
It set off this crazy chain reaction. First, the Trump administration reportedly jacked up the fees for H-1B visas, and not by a little. Now, for Indian IT companies, sending engineers to the US is a core part of their business. Suddenly, that became massively expensive. So what happens? The companies have to find ways to cut costs, and that puts immediate, intense pressure on staffing levels.
And just look at the sheer scale of this increase. We're talking about a fee that went from around $1,000 to a mind-boggling $100,000. 100,000! I mean, imagine if a critical part of your business suddenly became 100 times more expensive. You'd have to rethink your whole strategy.
But here's the thing. Is this just a TCS problem? Absolutely not. And it's so important to understand that what's happening there is part of a much bigger trend. The entire IT sector is feeling the squeeze.
I mean, just take a look at another global powerhouse, Accenture. They've also been all over the headlines for announcing their own major round of job cuts. It just goes to show you, these challenges are not unique to TCS at all.
At Accenture, the number floating around was 11,000. That's another huge figure. When you put it all together, it's pretty clear we're watching a massive correction across the entire IT sector, and it's all being driven by these new global economic pressures.
But wait, there's another side to this coin. While they're laying people off, companies like Accenture are also pumping tons of money into reskilling, which is basically training their remaining employees for the jobs of the future. Accenture has earmarked $250 million for this. So it's this dual strategy, right? Cut costs in one bucket while investing heavily in another.
So let's bring it back to TCS. With all this speculation, all this fear, and these giant numbers swirling around, everyone, from the employees on the ground to the investors on Wall Street, is waiting for just one thing: some clarity from the company itself.
But so far, radio silence. Yep. Despite all the stories from employees and the huge figures being quoted by unions, TCS hasn't released a formal, official statement to address this whole controversy head-on. And that silence, it's just making the uncertainty even worse. And that leads us to one very specific date, October 9th. Everybody is circling this on their calendars. It's the day TCS is supposed to release its quarterly results, and it's the day the entire industry expects, no, demands that the company finally breaks its silence and talks about what's really going on.
And all of this, it leaves us with a much bigger, more fundamental question.
When you hear these stories about employees who've dedicated more than a decade of their lives to a company, only to be let go overnight because of some distant policy change or market pressure, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? In this new corporate world, is employee loyalty becoming a one-way street?